It's 11 p.m. on a Sunday. You're lying in bed doing the exact thing you promised yourself you wouldn't do. Doom scrolling. And then, there it is. Somebody you went to high school with is standing in a gorgeous infinity pool that perfectly drops off into the ocean. The caption? We only get one life. Your thumb stops. Something in your chest tightens. And before you've even consciously made a decision, you've opened a travel app. The dates are picked, the flights are selected, and there's a friendly little button staring back at you that says, Reserve now, pay over time. Here is the part that nobody tells you. That photo you're so jealous of, there is a very decent chance the person in it is more broke than you are. They didn't pay for that pool. A payment plan did. And that trip they are calling priceless is going to haunt their credit card statement for the next 11 months. This isn't a video telling you not to travel. I love a good trip. This is a video about a financial trap, one disguised so well that we've actually started thanking it for robbing us. And today, we're pulling apart the most socially protected overspending habit in America: vacations. If you've ever come home from a well-deserved break and felt vaguely poor for months, hit subscribe and drop a like, because we need to talk about the math nobody wants to do. Let's start with what people are actually spending, because the numbers are genuinely a little unhinged. According to recent surveys, the average American expects to spend over $10,000 on trips in a single year. Let that sink in. 10 grand. Even conservative estimates put it around $5,000 per household. For a household making a median income of $80,000, that is roughly 6 to 14% of your entire gross income before taxes, going to a category that gives you almost nothing back that lasts. Where does it all go? Roughly 40% goes to lodging, where the average U.S. hotel night now runs over $160. Another 30 to 45% just to getting there, and the rest? Food and activities, which is just a polite word for the $40 you'll spend renting 2 beach chairs for 90 minutes. Let me introduce you to Ross and Rachel. They're in their mid-30s, married, making a combined $95,000 a year. They're responsible. They have a 401k, an emergency fund, the whole starter kit. This year, they booked a trip to Tulum that ran them about $6,200 all in. But they didn't have $6,200 sitting in cash. So they clicked that gently suggestive button to split the cost. 8 months later, that balance is still sitting on a credit card at a 22% interest rate. They are the rule, not the exception. Studies show that over a third of people who put a summer trip on a credit card still haven't paid it off a full year later. They are literally booking this year's vacation while still paying for last year's. That's not a vacation. That's a timeshare of regret. With that 22% interest, Ross and Rachel's $6,200 trip quietly becomes closer to $8,000. Congratulations. You just paid $8,000 to experience $6,000. It's the world's worst exchange rate. But wait, it gets worse. Enter the new flavor of travel debt: buy now, pay later. These companies have wormed their way right into the booking screen at the exact emotional peak when you can already taste the piña colada. They offer to split it into 4 cute little payments. Here is the tale. These companies brag to merchants that travelers using their payment plans spend an average of 20% to 48% more. That isn't a feature for you. That is a confession. The whole point is to get you to spend money you wouldn't have spent if you had to feel the full price at once. You've successfully turned a 1-week vacation into a monthly subscription. So why do we do this? It's a psychology problem. You know the phrase, experiences over things? Psychologists found that experiences tend to make people happier than buying physical stuff. That's good science. But then the travel industry got its hands on it and turned it into a weapon. Collect moments, not things. Memories last forever. You only live once. Every one of those phrases is engineered to switch off the part of your brain that does arithmetic. On vacation, money starts to feel like monopoly money. You say yes to the room upgrade, yes to the excursion, yes to the $40 cocktails, because surely that's not the real you spending. That's vacation you. And vacation you has earned this. Add social media to the mix, and it's a disaster. Nearly 8 out of 10 young people spend more than they planned on trips just to chase a feeling they got from a stranger's highlight reel. You'd never justify financing a $4,000 couch you couldn't afford. You'd feel ridiculous. But a $4,000 trip you can't afford? That's self-care. They aren't selling you a flight. They're selling you permission. Now, let's talk about the smaller leaks. The number you see when you book is almost never the number you pay. Resort fees. Once a weird Vegas thing, now they're everywhere. Expect to pay $30 to $50 a night for amenities like the pool, which you assumed was just part of the hotel. All-inclusive traps. The pitch is everything's covered. The reality, the good restaurant costs extra, premium liquor costs extra, the spa is $200. Timeshares, the ultimate final boss. Averaging $25,000 up front, plus a $1,500 annual maintenance fee that goes up every year and never stops. You can't even give them away because whoever takes it inherits the fee. It's the only asset on earth that costs money to get rid of. Nobody in the travel industry wants you anywhere near a calculator, but we're going to use one anyway. Let's look at the opportunity cost. Let's go back to Ross and Rachel. Let's say they take a $5,000 trip every year. What if instead they put that $5,000 into a plain index fund, earning a conservative 8% return? After 30 years, that $5,000 a year becomes about $566,000. Let me say that slowly. Their annual trip is quietly the difference between paying off their house at 55 and still making mortgage payments at 70. Here's the rule of thumb I want you to carry around. Multiply your trip cost by 10.
A $5,000 trip taken at age 30, invested instead, becomes $50,000 by age 60. So your week in the sun isn't costing you $5,000. It is costing your future self $50,000. A $4,000 getaway is a $40,000 decision charged to the older, tired version of you who's going to need that money a lot more than you need a swim-up bar right now. If expensive vacations made us proportionately happier, you could maybe defend the math, but they don't. Researchers tracked over 1,500 people and found that the biggest happiness boost from a vacation comes from the anticipation before you even leave. After the trip, happiness levels drop back to baseline rapidly. It's called the fade-out effect. Day 1 on the beach is magic. By day 6, you're checking work emails and thinking about doing laundry. A $12,000 overwater bungalow and a $1,200 cabin in the woods produce the exact same happiness fade-out. The travel industry is charging you a luxury premium on happiness that doesn't actually exist. So how do we travel without ruining our future? I use something called the 5-3-10 rule. Run any trip through this filter. 5. Cap your total annual travel spending at 5% of your gross income. If you make $80,000, your cap is $4,000 a year. If a trip doesn't fit, change the destination or the season. The destination is negotiable. Your financial future is not. 3. If you can't pay the whole thing off within 3 months in actual cash, not waiting on a theoretical bonus, you can't afford it. And if you have to use buy now, pay later, cancel the booking. 10. Multiply the price by 10. That's what the money would become if invested for 30 years. You aren't deciding if a trip is worth $5,000. You're deciding if it's worth $50,000. The vacation trap isn't one bad decision. It's a cultural agreement we've all signed that says travel gets to skip the math. The right trip, paid for in cash, taken with people you actually love, somewhere you can truly exhale, is one of the best things you will ever spend money on. The wrong trip, financed, performative, stressful, and haunting your credit card statement in November, is one of the most destructive moves in personal finance. If you are currently paying off last year's trip, hear me clearly. You are not bad with money. You went up against $1 billion of marketing designed specifically to make financial restraint feel like deprivation. It was designed to get you. But now you see the machine. Take the trip you can actually afford, skip the debt, and invest the difference. Because 30 years from now, that difference is a paid-off house. And the next time you're lying in bed at 11 p.m., thumb hovering over Reserve Now, just remember, the Instagram photo never includes the credit card statement. If this video opened your eyes, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell me down in the comments what is the most you have ever regretted spending on a trip. I'll see you in the next one.